I'm really excited, y'all. We're talking about Natalie's new book, Fables. You know what's crazy? That why it's funny that I'm doing this is because I didn't grow up with books, and you did. But I had 4 siblings.
Wow.
So
you've got storytellers everywhere, I'm sure.
Right. But it wasn't, I don't know, like I have a love for them now, but I didn't, and my mom was a teacher, which is ironic, but you grew up with reading. Reading's always been important to you and your family. And you said it helped shape your sense of empathy because it allowed you to experience a life outside your own. I think when I started reading, that's what it did for me. It transported me to other places, and I was like, this is crazy. There's other ways of life. Talk about that, because was that because you were an only child?
I think a big part of it is certainly being an only child, and I moved a lot too growing up. So I think that, books were my kind of constant companions. I'd be in a new place, I'd be the new kid at school always, and I could always go and read a book and be engaged emotionally in a story. But I also think that storytelling in general, even movies or TV or books, are our way of practicing empathy, because we sit down and we care about someone else's life for a while. I mean, it's funny when you think of it that you'll sit and cry about someone else's pain, who's often a fictional character. You're practicing caring about another human, and hopefully that takes you into the world in a different way. And when you look at someone, you think, oh, I wonder what their day is like, or their life might be very different than mine, because that's what you're starting to instill with the storytelling.
Tell me, why did you pick, so you picked these 3 because you found them least problematic, but also you loved, but you did such a great job of, like, these are really good tales. The Tortoise and the Hare is one of my favorite life lessons, right? Mm-hmm. Underestimating your opponent, David and Goliath. There's so many themes in that one alone. But like, why the 3 little pigs and the country mouse and city mouse?
So the 3 stories, first of all, I wanted to do stories that were with animals, because I feel like all kids have an equal access point when they're animals. I know when I was little, if I would read a book and there was like a brown-haired girl, I'm that one, but when it's animals,
me too.
And I feel like when it's animals, you're looking more at the personality to see who you relate to, rather than just something that's like a physical appearance. So it gives kind of equal access points to all kids. And then of the animal stories, I wanted ones that I loved the messages and I thought they were like relevant to today. So the Tortoise and the Hare, I thought there's such a valuable story in like taking your time and being attentive with all the fast-paced, crazy noise that's happening. And that there's something like love in really paying attention. And then for the 3 little pigs, it was, the classic stories that building strong foundations will keep you safe when, a wolf comes. And I thought that there was a kind of environmental turn to that story, because, that building strong foundations now is thinking about our planet and how to build cleanly. So, in the old story, one of the little pigs built his house out of straw. And in this one, she built her house out of plastic straws that, are coming out of her takeout, and it blows over. So that was the reason for that one. And then Country Mouse and City Mouse, I just think is a relevant story about, forever, about, true friendship, and, that you don't want people to be around you for superficial reasons. You want true friends, because the city mouse obviously kind of gets abandoned when danger comes. And so those 3 felt like relevant to our time, and that could be updated just to reflect the gender dynamics of the world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All of these fables could be applied right now in our country, right? Like
empathy in general, it's just like, that's all we need is empathy and imagining other people's lives. It's like an active imagination, imagining how someone else's day is, and then being sensitive to that.
What was the hardest thing during this process? Like, what was the was it picking the stories, or was it picking an illustrator? Because it's so beautifully illustrated. Oh my gosh, these photos are so,
Yeah.
I mean, these drawings are so beautiful.
I want to
But
say
what,
thank you. I had nothing to do with her incredible talent, except that I was lucky enough to meet Jana and get this gorgeous art sent to me throughout, and it was so fun getting to see her little like jokes. Like I love there's this one I'll find. I love this. There's a porcupine making balloon animals. It's like my favorite. She just put all these little things in that are so
and
cute.
there's a monkey reciting something. Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I think it's
Aping.
so beautiful, because my son is too young to, like I said, to read like this book, but he
Yeah.
enjoys it because it's the illustrations are really catching to him, like
Yeah.
visually, which is important, I think, in children's books. How do
Um,
your son and daughter um interact, I guess? Is it, as far as like, is he a protector, or does he understand like, oh, girls are equal, or is he like, eh?
Oh, he is growing up in such an amazing way. I'm so like moved by him and impressed by him every day, because it really feels like a different kind of male we're bringing into the next
Yeah.
generation.
Hmm.
Although I mean, I can hardly take credit for it. But one of the things that made us want to do the soccer team for
Hmm.
me was seeing my son watch the Women's World Cup, because he was so into it and he loved, he would talk about Alex and Megan Rapinoe in the same breath as he would talk about Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo and all his male heroes. And it was just, they were interchangeable. And to me, that was a revolution. I was like, is culture change to have boys? I mean, of course, girls, we need our heroes. We also deserve to have major athletic careers if we are virtuosic, not me, but if someone is virtuosic at athletics, they should get an amazing career the same way a man does. But what does it change ways to get to look at female athletes as their heroes, female leaders as their heroes, in the same way that they look at their male heroes? Because it just makes everybody human, and
Yeah.
you're just looking at people for their qualities and not at their gender.
What do you want people to get from this book, and just the experience of the retelling of these tales?
Well, I hope that kids and parents reading it to them just enjoy the stories, and that they're fun, and that they have the values we have loved to pass down from generation to generation, of hard work, of building strong foundations, of empathy, of taking your time, but that it just gives a kind of view of the world of the way it actually is, instead of something that is biased.